Okay, I'm going to try to review key concepts that you need to know about monopolies and perfect competition. On the multiple choice, I think that's about 10 or 11 questions. And on the FRQ, I'm pretty sure I said the FRQ would either be about a monopoly or a perfectly competitive firm. So this could be helpful for both of them. All right. I don't have one, but I just want to remind you, a natural monopoly has a downward sloping ATC. All right, a downward sloping ATC, and MC is below the ATC. The reason for that is high fixed costs, all right? And as you're producing more units, average fixed cost goes down and ATC drops down. MC's below, all right? And in a natural monopoly, that one company, because fixed costs are so high, better serves the market than 2 or 3 companies. All right. So we have a monopoly graph here. All right. Here is a key. MC equals MR up to demand. That gives you price, down gives you quantity. I am sure there'll be 1 or 2 questions that just ask you for price and quantity. They expect you to get those right. Those are the give me's. Remember to go up to demand. Okay. Let's get some just things here. MC, that is allocatively efficient, where MC crosses demand. Where MC crosses ATC, that is productively efficient. Okay, so you have both your allocative and productively efficient. Now, if I take where MC equals MR, my profit maximizer, straight on up to my demand curve, down to the MC, that is deadweight loss. Why is deadweight loss caused? Because we're producing at a price higher than MC equals demand. All right, so that is deadweight loss. Above the price, below demand is consumer surplus. That's this white triangle right up here. Producer surplus is below the price and above supply, which is above the MC curve. The profit box is I take the price down to the ATC and across, and that pink is the profit box. All right. Now, we haven't really done this, but they could ask you to like shade in the total revenue. So everything below the price and down the quantity, this red box I'm starting to make, that would be total revenue, okay? Total cost would be where the profit line is going across. This white box would also be total cost, all right? So those are things that I've seen them asked that I really don't talk about that much in class that I thought was good for you to know. All right, now, highest total revenue. I actually think we're pretty good at this spot. That's where MR hits the axes. If I take it up, straight up, that is unit elastic. Everything to its left is elastic. Everything to the right is inelastic, okay? So that's a spot that they sometimes would ask. If a monopoly produced like a perfectly competitive firm, we're in perfect competition, the graph is like an X, supply and demand, I look at MC equals demand, so here would be perfect competition. I'm sorry that these lines aren't straight, but this would be price for perfect competition. And if I took this down, it would be quantity for perfect competition. All right, so you go where MC crosses demand. All right, now, a lot of times they'll ask, and I'm just going to erase all the lines here to clean it up. What would happen if this was a perfectly price discriminating monopoly? All right, so we know in price discrimination, right? We know that there's no consumer surplus. Why? Because consumer surplus is what I'm willing to pay versus what I do pay. So I'm willing to pay 30. In price discrimination, I pay 30. Prescott's willing to pay 50, he pays 50. Charlie's willing to pay 20, he pays 20. So there's no consumer surplus. Because everyone's paying the price they want, MR now folds into demand and becomes Mr. Dark. Like every market structure, to find the quantity produced, I go to the profit maximizer, which is MC equals MR, and I just go straight down, okay? There is really no price line because everyone's paying a different price. And if I was looking at the profits, I take the MC equals MR down to the ATC and across, and I have a big profit box. So notice two things. Profits increase, and where I used to be selling Q1, I'm now all the way over here. So profits and both quantity increases in a perfect price discrimination monopoly. Okay, so usually they don't ask you to draw it, but they ask you like the question I just asked now. Okay. All right, now let's just see, did I do an excise? Okay, yeah. All right, so here I have an excise tax. All right, so I start off at a price where right here, the right MC curve, MC equals MR, the price is 15 and the quantity is 5. All right. Now I didn't put an ATC here to just make it easier for you to see because there's a lot of lines. In an excise tax, MC is going to shift to the left, like I did. You're going to have a new MC equals MR. So price is now going to be 16. So price went up and quantity is going to now be 4 and quantity went down. Now, ATC would shift upward. So no matter where the ATC is, you would shift it upward, okay? So in an excise tax, you have two things going on. You have MC moving to the left, and you have ATC going up. Now, you're moving, the socially optimals where MC, the original MC equals demand, you're moving further away from that. So that is going to increase your deadweight loss because you're moving further away from the socially optimal, okay? Now, you're also in the elastic part of the curve. So if price goes up in the elastic part of the curve, total revenue goes down. So they like to ask that, like, if price goes up, what happens to total revenue? Because it seems intuitive, price up, total revenue. No, in the elastic part of the curve where monopolies operate when they're profit maximizing, price up, total revenue down. They're not getting us on that, okay? All right, the new consumer surplus would be above the 16, below demand, and the new producer surplus would be below that price and above the supply. Okay. All right, so that is an excise tax. Let's see, do I have a per unit subsidy? Ah, yes, I do. I have a per unit subsidy. Here I put the ATC curve. I started us out losing money, okay? All right, so we had the original MC curve here, where, let me just make it clear where the original is. Here is the original profit maximizer. All right, so MC equals MR up to price, right? And to quantity, all right? Now, a per unit subsidy shifts MC to the right. Notice, if MC goes to the right, I have a new MC equals MR. I take that up to demand, price goes down. Here was original price, here's the subsidy price, okay? Notice quantity went up. This is the original quantity, this is the subsidy quantity. Because we have a new MC equals MR, I take it up to demand and across and down to quantity. Now, here I showed you the ATC, where in the tax, the ATC went up And a subsidy, the ATC goes down, all right? Because let's just say it's for every pizza. For a subsidy, they're saying for every pizza you sell, you're getting $1. So that's increasing, that's lowering my cost because the government's giving me $1 for every pizza I sell. The opposite's happening for a tax, that's increasing my cost because for every dollar I get taxed, ATC goes up. So that's how you handle a per unit subsidy and a per unit tax. Now, this would be the same thing in perfect competition as far as shifting things in the firm, but I just wanted to show you that here. Okay, let's see what I got next. The lump sum subsidy is you just drop ATC. Now, if I just drop ATC, there is no change to MC equals MR. So that means price doesn't change, quantity doesn't change, deadweight loss doesn't change, consumer surplus doesn't change. Nothing changes except profitability. All right. So I'm making more money because at the end of the year, if we were making 100,000 and the government gives us a 50,000 check, we're now making 150,000. Now, a lump sum tax works the opposite way. All right, ATC shifts up. Still, no change in consumer surplus, no change in producer surplus, no change in deadweight loss, no change in price and quantity. The only thing that changes is profits. So here, if I was making 100,000 and now the government taxes me 50, I'm only making 50,000. Okay, so that's how the lump sums work. Okay. I did talk about this, but I'll just go again. So say like this monopoly wants to raise its price to over here. Again, if it's in the elastic part of the curve, right? Price up, total revenue down. So less quantity, price up, total revenue down. Now, say they give you this and they say at P1, Q1, what does this firm have to do to maximize profits? Well, what it has to do is increase production because you're trying to get to the profit maximizer. All right. And you could even look graphically. Here's your MC and here's your MR. Anytime MR is greater than MC, we're producing more. If I put it on the other side of the profit maximizer, like here, like say QC, which would be like the quantity for perfect competition. Here's my MR, here's my MC, right? My MC is greater. If MC is greater, I'm going to produce less and try to get to the profit maximizing spot. All right. Now they ask that a lot, like they'll give you the marginal cost and the marginal revenue in a word problem and ask you what the company should do. Marginal revenue is greater, you're going to produce more. If marginal cost is greater, you're going to produce less. Okay. Now, the shutdown rule, which is true for all market structures, would be if the price is lower than the AVC, we shut down. Now, to be honest with you, that rarely happens in a monopoly, but you know, they could give you that because it does really happen. And the exit rule is in the long run, if price is lower than ATC, we shut down. Okay. Is that everything you need to know about monopolies? No, but I think it covers a lot of the basics. And if you know that, you should do well on the FRQ and you should do well on the multiple choice. I would just encourage to make sure that you could draw a perfect monopoly graph to start. Okay. And I'll say the same thing about this side-by-side perfect competition in the long run. If you look at the green arrow, that's how we started out side-by-side perfect competition in the long run. Okay. All right. You need to be able to graph, like I said, you need to be able to graph in the long run, zero economic profit. Both the competitions are zero economic profit. This graph just says mRNA, it's Mr. Daub, marginal revenue equals demand equals average revenue equals price. I will say on the test, there'll probably be 1 or 2 questions where if you know that, Mr. Daub, in the word problems, you will get them right. Okay, here is your side-by-side. I put an AVC in there just so you could see it. Just remember that the space between the AVC and the ATC is AFC, and it gets shorter because fixed cost doesn't change. So if I'm dividing 50 by 1, quantity 1, and 50 by 2, 3, average fixed cost shrinks, okay? Okay, all right, I guess I'm gonna do everything on this graph. Let's do an excise tax here. So just like an excise tax is going to be just put on the firm. So my MC is going to go up like this. All right. I got a new MC equals MR. So that's going to be my quantity there. Here was my original quantity. All right. And then my ATC, because average total cost per unit is going to go up, my ATC is going to go up. All right. Now, am I making or losing money now? I'm losing money because the ATC is above the price. Okay. I'm also in the short run now because the ATC is above the price. If I'm losing money, so 1, nothing changed, price or quantity in the industry. Price didn't change because MC equals MR and we're price takers, but quantity got less in the firm in the short run. Okay, now what's going to happen in the long run, right? Firms are going to exit. Why are they going to exit? I'm sorry about these lines. Why are they going to exit? Because firms are not making money. So they're going to exit. No one wants to be in an industry where, and I'm going to shift my supply in the industry to the left. Why? Because number of sellers decreases. All right. So I'm going to have a new price. The price in the industry went up. The quantity in the industry went down. All right. I'm going to take that over. The price in the firm went up. All right. And then it's going to hit this new MC curve. And, you know, the quantity from the original quantity definitely goes down. Okay. All right. So that's how you would handle going the excise tax, which takes you from the short run, from the long run to the short run back to the long run. All right. Now they could get you doing that in a couple of ways. And you always, you know, want to make sure you can go from the long run to the short run back to the long run. All right. A per unit subsidy is going to act the same way. Well, I meant the same way, but not really. Meaning MC is just going to shift to the right, but you're going to go from the short run to the long run. Right? MC is going to shift to the right like that, getting you a new profit maximizer over here. And then ATC is going to shift down. And let's pretend the ATC shifts where the AVC is. All right, we'll just put a line through it and call it ATC1 now. All right, so now ATC is below the price. I'm making money, right? So firms are going to enter. All right, so I'm going to, here, we're going to be here. Firms are going to enter. So I'm going to have more sellers. So supply is going to shift right. Sorry again for those curves. All right. And then where supply now crosses the MC curve, which would be like here, or Mr. Dark, because this is going to be like Mr. Dark 2. Right. So what's going to happen here? Price in the firm is going to go down, right? Price in the firm goes down. The original quantity was MC equals MR here. That's going to decrease in the industry. All right. Now, you don't have to memorize things here. What you have to realize is, what affects subsidies and taxes. So the excise subsidies and the excise taxes. Now, if it's a lump sum, let's just do a lump sum on tax. All right. So a lump sum tax is going to shift ATC up. Now, no change on price or quantity. The only thing that changes you from the long run to the short run, because your ATC is up, so you're losing money. Now, notice your price, the green line, is above the AVC. All right. So the price is above the AVC. So therefore, you're staying in business. You would shut down if the price was below AVC. All right. But now you're getting into the long run. Okay. So in the long run, you're losing money. So firms are going to exit, right? So firms are going to exit. And I like to draw the line across this way. And the only reason I like doing that is it shows me what point through the demand curve I should draw my supply. So firms are going to exit. I'm going to have less sellers, right? I'm going to have less sellers. Okay. Now, in the firm, price went up because this is a new Mr. Darp coming through. And quantity in the firm increased. Why? Because there's less sellers, so each firm has to make more. Now, you got to be careful where they're asking, because price in the industry went up, just like the firm, but quantity in the industry decreased, right? That's Q1, and that's the original Q. All right. Now, a subsidy, you would just shift ATC down, a lump sum subsidy. So let's get that just straight, and let me just say it again. Excise tax, MC to the left, ATC up. Per unit subsidy, MC to the right, ATC down. Lump sum subsidy, ATC down. Lump sum tax, ATC up. Now, in these firms, a lot of times it'll take you from the long run to the short run, and as we demonstrated, how to get back to the long run. Okay. All right. Now, kind of like on a monopoly, how about if they just asked you what was total revenue? All right. So here's my quantity. Everything below the price and the quantity, this box would be total revenue. Now, say like there was a subsidy, lump sum subsidy. So here was my new ATC. What would my total cost be? Well, I'm going to take the MC equals MR down to the ATC, and that where the profit, but below the profit box, this would be my total cost. Okay. Again, just want to show you how to find total revenue and total cost. And it makes sense, right? Here's total revenue, here's total cost, and this box above, right in here, is your profit, right? You took the price down to the ATC and across. Now here again, we'd be in the short run, right? Because ATC dropped below the price. We're making money. Firms are going to enter. Supply is going to shift right. And we're going to get back into the long run. And I'm just going to erase that. All right. Now, sometimes I'll ask, how about if a firm raised their price, what would happen to total revenue? Total revenue would go to zero. Why? If this firm raises their price, there's 1,000 firms selling the same exact identical thing for lower. No one's going to buy it. So that would be there. All right. Where MC crosses demand. Like here in the long run, where MC crosses demand, that is allocatively efficient. We're producing, right? We're producing where MC crosses demand. Where MC crosses ATC is productively efficient. So in the long run, perfect competition is both productively and allocatively efficient. All right. Now, how about if this firm was producing over here at QS? What would it have to do to be productively to maximize profits? Well, again, here's my MC, right? And here's my MR, right? Because that's Mr. Dark. If MR is higher than MC, I produce more. I need to go to the profit maximizer. So I would produce more. Okay. On the other side, if I'm here, MC, I gotta just take this line up, is higher than MR, so I decrease production and try to go to the profit maximizer. Okay, so be careful in both the FRQ and the word problems. They like to ask, again, questions about MR and MC to see should you increase or decrease production. All right, the profit maximizer is the same in this, like all firms, MC equals MR. So like I didn't put a quant, MC equals MR. That's my quantity. The price is Mr. Doe. The shutdown rule is, let's see, if we were losing money here, lump sum tax, ATC goes up. We're staying in business because the price is between the ATC and the AVC, meaning I'm taking care of some of my fixed cost, right? I'm not losing all my fixed cost, all right? So in the short run, I shut down, just like a monopoly, price below AVC. In the long run, firms are gonna exit if price is below ATC, all right? All right, that about sums up perfect competition and monopoly, things you should know for the FRQs. All right. If there's any questions, of course, don't hesitate to email me or talk to me in class. Take care. Bye.